Hey guys, it's Jen from beautyriotx, and today we're going to be using a lot of my favorite YouTubers' beauty products that I associate with them. Like when I look at these products, I think of that person. So it's products that I remember them using a ton or talking about a ton, like some of their favorite makeup products. Whether it be from the past or I picked it up because of them or whatever. And a lot of them I haven't used before. And before we start, I would like to steal one of RawBeautyKristi's words and say that I feel like butt shit today. So I've primed with my e.l.f. Putty Primer. This is something I love. And we are going to start with the Beauty Bay Me, Myself, and Mitchell Pressed Pigment Palette. This palette is a favorite of Melissa from Make Me Up Missa. She is a Scottish YouTuber and she's just adorable, and I highly recommend her channel. Besides this incredibly annoying mirror that you take out, this palette is unbelievably gorgeous. I've had it for a while. I don't think I've ever actually used it on camera, and I've only actually used it like twice. It's beautiful though, so we're gonna use it today. All right, so I think because these are pressed pigments, I think I'm going to start from the bottom up. And I'm gonna start with the shade Moto right here. Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. And because I'm not feeling 100%, I'm not completely gonna care about the outcome of this look. I'm gonna try, but I'm not gonna be upset if it's not my best work. I don't remember what release it was, but I remember one of Beauty Bay's launches like for a big palette. And I remember going on their Instagram and seeing like a bunch of pissed off, I want to say maybe it was something from Jeffree Star, a bunch of pissed off customers about like shipping or something, or like my credit card was charged twice. I've never had an issue ordering from Beauty Bay, and if you don't know, Beauty Bay is a company from the UK, like Ulta or something here. I've never had an issue. If you're from the US or anywhere and have ordered from Beauty Bay, have you ever had problems ordering from there? I never have. Okay, now we're gonna go in with, I think, Mini right here. I kind of want to use some of the reds and oranges. But then again, I'm like, ugh, I do kind of want to do a cut crease because I want to use some of these metallics. Because the time or two I did use this palette, which did work out well, I only used the mattes. Like I've swatched a few of the metallics, but I've never used them. I think I'm actually gonna put an order in on Lagunna, which is like a Korean beauty site that I heard from James Welsh. He was doing like a sponsored video with them, and they have really good prices on K-beauty, like drugstore makeup, like better than YesStyle, better than Amazon, and stuff that I've actually been like looking for. So I think I'm actually gonna put an order in with them, and their free shipping range is like lower than YesStyles, because YesStyles for the US you have to order like $100 to get free shipping. Like this, I think it's like $48 to get free shipping in the US, so I'm like, okay, I can do that. All right, now I think I'm gonna go in with, when I first looked at this name for this shade, I thought it said Muhammad. It says Mad with a bunch of M's. And this brush, this Jeffree Star Morphe brush, is actually working out really well for pretty much all of this. So now I think I'm gonna go in with Mental right here. Fun part's gonna be remembering what the hell I did and match it on this side. And now I'm gonna go into Manchester right here. All right, so let's do a cut crease. And I already know what I want to do. All right, cut crease is down. I'm going to swatch these four first. So we have Michelle, Meaty, which I do not like that name at all, Muffin, and Melted, which is gorgeous. I don't think I'm gonna use any of these. There's two on the cool side over here that are jumping out at me that I really wanna use. So over here we have Marine, Mega, Minty, and Master. And honestly, I think I'm gonna use these two. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start with Mega on the outside. Oh. That is gorgeous. The only thing I don't love about Marine is that it's kind of chunky. Like it's not very smooth, but I feel like not many shades like this are. That came out lovely, if I don't mind saying so myself. I'm gonna attempt to do the same thing on this eye. Okay, Both eyes are done. This one kind of matches, it's kind of off. We're just gonna ignore it. This is a gorgeous palette. I don't think it's limited edition. Sometimes I still see it on Beauty Bay, so you might get lucky. The next is primer, and this is the Touche Eclat Blur Primer. And I remember Alana Davidson loving this primer for a really long time. I don't know if she still uses it, but I know she used to love it. It used to be like one of her holy grails. I had this deluxe sample. I was like, great, now it's my time to try it. And I've never actually tried it. So it's got like little specks of, I don't know if they're real gold, but I'm assuming it's glitter. It kind of feels like silicone, like Benefit primer. I like the No Problem. I like this from Touch and Soul. I don't like the Professional from Benefit. That one's like too thick. This one is almost like, it feels like something between the No Problem and the Professional. I might have used a little too much. Probably should use a tiny bit less, but I thought it was like a gel formula and not one of the other ones. But anyway, okay. I don't have a specific foundation because I have so many foundations, I need to use them up. So I'm gonna go in with one of my current favorites. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy foundation. I mixed the shades Soft Ivory and Soft Beige together. I don't know what shade I actually am. This is too light, this is too something. So I mixed them together instead of just tossing them. Even though they're so cheap, I probably could just do that. But either way, you don't care, that's fine. I mix them together on my little board. All right, Soft Beige is too yellow by itself. And Soft Ivory is too light and too pink. Oh, but the finish of this foundation is so gorgeous. I just can't take it. It's sitting really nice on the primer, it looks like though. But to be honest, I haven't found too many primers this foundation doesn't look good with. It's so like skin-like. I mean, the primer would have to be the worst primer in the world, I think, for it not to look nice with it. So I'll zoom you in. Foundation looks really good. You know what? This foundation was actually a favorite of Jessica Braun's as well. So I guess I could actually use this foundation, but it's also one that I have been using and is a favorite of mine too, so. But she convinced me to try it. Thanks, Jess. Okay, so a primer is definitely something that you can see if it's okay, usually right away. If it's under a foundation, you know really well already. And it's something that you have to use for at least a day to see how that foundation that you already know works still works well with this primer. So I'll update you guys in the pin post below. However, regardless, like I said, this is a sample, I didn't pay for this. I wouldn't pay the price of a YSL primer, just so you know, regardless of how good it is. All right, just did my concealer. What did I just say? Just did my concealer, and now we're gonna use something else Jessica Braun loves. And this is more of one of her current favorites. It's definitely something I associate with her. This is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Translucent Finishing Powder in Light. She uses this under her eyes in place of her Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish Powder. I have that one too, but she says she likes this one even better for setting under her eyes. Like, it makes it look flat and flawless and creaseless, and it's like 1/3 of the price of the Charlotte Tilbury, so I thought we would give it a whirl. And I have asked her if it's this one or there's a darker version of this. There's like a dark silver palette. It's this lighter one. There's like the light silver and then the dark silver. It's the light silver one that she uses. Now, something tells me I have much creasier under eyes than she does. I'm a few years older than her. I'm actually gonna use this to set the rest of my face too, just to see how I like it anyway. I think she just does her under eyes with it, but I'm gonna set my whole face with it. I usually use like a loose powder under my eyes. And I did like the Charlotte Tilbury under my eyes because I did use that for a while, but I've just become a fan of using loose powders more. And after deciding that I like loose powders more, I just haven't used any of my favorite pressed powders lately. I guess we'll have to see how it looks in a little while, but I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. So I mean, it didn't insanely accentuate my lines. Doesn't look bad though. I'm okay so far. All right, so now we're gonna do bronzer. And this is one of Kathleen Light's OG favorites. And it just happens to be in a palette that I have, and I've never used this, but this is one of my favorite palettes for highlights. This is the NARS, I'm sure I never pronounce this right. This is the Beurre de Play highlighting bronzing palette. So it's the shade Laguna, and it's right here, and I've never touched it. I've never touched either of these. I usually just use the highlighters, which I love. I don't know why I've never used it. I didn't put on my normal cream highlight just because I wanted to see exactly what this does. But this happened again with another product and another palette that I have. Make Me Up Missa loves the Benefit Hula Light Powder. And for weeks I was debating getting it. And I'm like, do I want to pay 30 bucks like for a powder I've never tried? And it's a really light powder. I don't even know if it's gonna look okay with my skin tone. And the whole time it's been sitting in my drawer like for a year in one of my cheek palettes that I already had from Benefit. And it's one of my favorite powders now, so, okay. It's a nice powder. And I know that whole thing like, oh, when you get a palette, like sometimes the powders aren't the same as when they come in a single pan. But I mean, I feel like the gist is the same. That's really pretty. I do feel like there's probably one big difference that I noticed with the highlighters that I kind of like. These are pressed insanely hard. Not like to the point where you can't see anything or you don't get any payoff, because you really do. Like these are incredibly smooth and finely milled, but they're pressed super hard. They're very, very smooth and finely milled, and the highlighters have more payoff than the bronzers, which I feel like is okay because then I can build it up. I feel like if I was to get a Laguna bronzer just in a pan, I wouldn't be pressed as hard and there would be more pigment, which I don't really want out of a bronzer right off the bat. Like I feel like maybe I'm safer with bronzers that I have to work up and build up. That makes sense? So I think that looks fine and pretty, and even though maybe they're a little warmer than I would normally use, I feel like that's okay. Okay, so far so good. The next one I'm really excited about. It's a recommendation and well, I don't know if it's a recommendation, but it's a longtime love of Samantha Ravandahl. She doesn't buy MAC anymore because they're not cruelty free. But this is a love of hers that she's had forever, and it's a shade I totally associate with her. It's the Mineralize blush in Warm Soul. Now, there's also some debate because the Warm Soul she loves is the original one in the old packaging. She swears, though, that they changed it somehow because she feels like there's just something different about it in the new packaging. So this is the new packaging. And then if you remember the old MAC, it's the windows are wider, the outside is thinner. It's just old packaging. So she swears though that the new packaging is not the same. A friend of mine who's a MAC makeup artist has an old version of Warm Soul that she's sending me. It was from her personal collection. It's not one that she used on everybody, but she was like, hey, she's like, I'll send you mine if you want it. So she sanitized it as best she could and she's gonna send it to me, so I'm gonna see if I feel like there's a difference for myself. But I'm very excited to try this, and I just got approved for a discount on MAC Cosmetics, so thankfully I didn't pay the whole fucking price for this, because that's no fun. And all of a sudden, like, MAC blush obsessed. Like, I ordered 3 MAC blushes. I normally love blush, but for some reason recently, so if you want to see all my new blushes that I've gotten recently, let me know in the comments, because, well, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna show you guys anyway in a video that I do soon, because, ooh, it's subtle, but you can definitely see it. And she did say in a recent video, she's like, I know if I love a blush if I can't see the swatch. She's like, I know I'm gonna love it. And I feel like this is a blush that you can't go too crazy on. Well, you probably could, but she said like this blush, like the newer version, is a lot of glitter. I don't see a lot of glitter. I do see a lot of sheen, which I'm fine with. Even if it's different from the old one, I mean, it's still gorgeous. Next, we're gonna do a RawBeautyKristi favorite. This is the Mega Last lipstick in Mochalicious. Now, the other, I don't know, so, I don't know if they just redid their packaging or if this is a new formula, but this is the shade Mochalicious, so I'm assuming it's still the same color at least. Maybe the formula is different, but I'm assuming they wouldn't change the color along with the formula and name it the same thing. Like, I don't know. So it's like a brown. I don't love brown lipstick. I would choose something else to go with this eye look, but too late now. Well, it's really not too late, but I'm choosing to say it's too late. I really don't think the lips are gonna match right now, but we're gonna try anyway. Hopefully it's just not as dark as it looks. I don't hate it. I don't particularly like it on me though. It's like kind of that gray brown. I feel like one shade lighter, I would probably like it more. I don't hate it. I don't know if I love it though. It would probably be something that I would put a lighter nude on top of, like my Dead Nude from Nude Sticks, Whisper, which is like my favorite. We're gonna finish with highlight. This is the Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Highlighter in Daybreak Glimmer, and Allie Glines raved about this in her review of like the Skin Lights line. So this is the lightest shade. They have 3 of them. Champagne-y kind of shade. Oh. Tiny, tiny bit on the gold-ish side, not completely gold. I feel like if I was a tiny bit more tan, I wouldn't even notice it. The sheen from it is gorgeous. It's almost that like sweaty, wet sheen that like I love. All right, my favorite things right off the bat are Warm Soul, NARS Laguna, and the eyeshadow palette. To be completely honest, I'm not wowed by the rest. The primer I feel is just like meh. My foundation looks really nice, but like I said, this foundation always looks nice, no matter what. I feel like I might have found 1 or 2 primers that I've used it with that it didn't look nice. So just having said that, this is, I'm sure $50 or $60 full size. There's a ton of good primers. You don't need to spend money like that on something like this. Again, the lip shade is probably just not the right shade for me and my tastes, but I really like this formula. I love the Wet n Wild Mega Lash, and I love the new packaging it's coming in. They do have another like white colored line, and it's like, I think it's like a more shiny lipstick. Right off the bat, I don't love this. Not that my skin looks bad, and she didn't recommend to use it all over the face, I just did. For all over the face, I don't see much lift and illumination. Like I'm not going off the lifting part, because I mean, that's just hooey. It doesn't look bad. It feels kind of dry. It feels drier than it looks. It looks fine. It feels kind of dry though. My under eyes look fine. I'm gonna have to use it a few more times to really get a feel for it though. I'll use it with a few different concealers. It doesn't look bad. I'll have to see how it looks throughout the day to have a better opinion on it, because this is something that you really can't say unless it looks horrible right off the bat, which it doesn't. This is also fine. It's just a tiny bit more gold than suits my skin tone. But I love the actual like shine of it, the sheen, the formula. It's not clinging to any like fine lines or dry patches or anything like that. I think it looks really pretty. I think like the color is just maybe a tiny bit off for my skin tone, but it's very, very pretty. I don't know, maybe if I get a little bit more tan, it'll be like perfect, but I don't have foundation for when I'm tan, and I use it 50 SPF, so that probably won't actually be a thing for me. Maybe I'll pass this on. Okay, so that was it. What was your favorite thing that I used today? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.